But this is another very nice one. This is a 14-page unending book. It starts with this. 1, 2, 3, 4. We require 2 squares like this, a bit of glue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9, 10, 11, 12. 13, 14. That's the last page starts again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Just go on like that. Every child has a favorite story. I have a small grandson, and he can hear the same story 50 times. He knows it backside, front, but not bored with it, but he wants to hear it again and again. So when children take their favorite story, divide this into 14 steps, and make pictures, and make a very dynamic, moving picture book. You can't buy this anywhere, but you can make it no cost at all. Anything sort of paper. This is a fruity straw going inside or normal straw. Fruity straw is thin, and that's it. Make it small flapping butterfly. This is a gift. This is not. This was a gift from a girl from China, and I've never seen this in any book. We documented this, but look at this. It's a 1-minute toy. 1-minute toy. The children don't need to do very intricate origami. They can do that later, much later. But children want instant results. In 2-3 minutes, you should be able to demonstrate something which flaps, makes sounds, flies. This is just a 1 minute. It just simulates the motions, the flapping of the wings of a butterfly. Now, this has been around. It's a very old folk toy, or traditional toys. If you were in Andhra, this would make the palmyra leaf. You can see this acrobat. The body and the head is doubled, so there are 2 layers. Now between this crevice, you put the hand. A needle and a thread, a knot. Pull out the needle, another knot here. So you can see these are hinges. Ordinary hinge. This is the broomstick. And if you just spin this, we have this great arrogance. Adults have this arrogance that we teach. Teachers teach, children listen. Every child was sent by God to learn. Every child is a self-learner. Children learn so much without being taught. This is adult arrogance. We must spit it out. Children are born to learn. We create so many hindrances in school that children don't learn. And they learn the stupidest things. Right? If I were to spin it with both hands, what do you see? This is a flying man. Right? This is just like a centrifuge. If you spin something, it tends to fly out. Intuitively, you grasp the concept. There is a very nice book on my website. It's called as The Joy of Making Indian Toys. This is by a person called Sudarshan Khanna. He was actually in Chennai last week. Tara has published his book. But he was in the National Institute of Design for 35 years, and he did a book called as The Joy of Making Indian Toys. I translated that book 25 years back for the National Book Trust. Now he's documented 100 beautiful toys in that. Now this is one of those. This is the broomstick, coconut broomstick, the poorest house, one long one, one short one, and you tie them tightly. And you can see this short one is slightly bent down. It's not exactly at right angles. This probably came from Kerala because they would take the baby coconut and push the baby coconut. But where I live in Pune, there are no coconut trees, so substitute with a piece of old rubber slipper or eraser. Some weight over here, that's it. Now perch it on the index finger. This is the big side, and spin it towards the big side. Now centrifugal force, centripetal force are big words for little children. But this every child can appreciate. But why doesn't it spin off? Then just 5 years back, now many good things are happening in schools. One is the adult tinkering labs, if you've heard about them. And the government of India, our Prime Minister Modi ji gave this slogan of Make in India 4.5 years back. And somewhere there is a realization with the government that there will never be any Make in India unless children start making things in schools. This itself is a revolutionary realization on the part of the government. 2 years back, they started something called as the adult tinkering labs. And the government is funding the schools very liberally. 10 lakh rupees. It could be a private school, it could be a government school, not limited just to government schools. 10 lakh is capital cost, 10 lakh rupees is running cost for the next 3 years. So government is willing to give. This year they funded 1500 Atal Tinkering Labs. It's a very good program. This is not related to the curriculum. You know, physics lab, chemistry lab, biology lab, these are all related to the curriculum, where you write the answer before you actually do the experiment, right? It's such a farce. But this Atal Tinkering Lab would probably unleash the creativity of a lot of our children. Maybe often the children who are good at soaking and reproducing, mugging up, they're bad with their hands. But children who score 70%, 80%, not the topmost, but who are very good with their hands, it would give them a lot of boost to their self-esteem. I can make all this, these chaps, they get sent them, they can't do a thing, right? So it is a very good thing to have. And once children start doing things, there is a tradition of building things in schools that would lead to a better make in India than just an empty slogan. It's a very good part of the government to do that. So in Maharashtra, even 4th class children have a project method. Every child has to make a project. Now this is what one boy made, 4th class student, and he got a prize for it. This looks exactly like this. Now you got to stretch your imagination. What did this boy make? What did he make? Make a guess. Yeah, someone said. Satellite, wonderful, look at this. These are two. Up there in space, you can't be taking batteries because they're very, very heavy to take in space. You generate your own power, so these are solar panels. And this is what the satellite does. It spins around the earth. Very, very nice for a 4th standard child. Oh, the satellite is flying away. This is a very, very amazing toy. This has been around for 100 years. This has been a darling of physicists. A pencil with a rubber on one end. Suppose you make some mistake, you can erase it. It's probably part of your geometry box. So you make a few notches, V notches. Take a pen knife like this. A small V will come out. Deepen it. So 5 or 6 notches over here. Then you take a card sheet, thick card sheet. Make a fan. Make a hole in the middle, a big hole. You can punch a hole. It's a neat, clean hole. Push a pin inside. This black rubber is, because the hole is big, the fan can fly away. The pin head is very small. This rubber is to prevent, it's like a stopper. And what is, I have broomstick. Now I'm going to just rub this, something amazing happens. This is Fox Physicists for the last 100 years. 6 major research. Go to my website, pencil spinner, you'll find all the 6 research papers. You don't need the 6 billion hadron collider for doing this. Every child can do this. Schools are boring. If you want to survive school, you must make this as part of your geometry box. If something boring going on, play like this in school. Right. This is how you survive school. Clever people try. The school is boring. Very amazing. This NCRT would never, because no one knows the answer. People can make conjectures, so a child is at the same level as the biggest scientist. And they're much cleverer. Kids are much cleverer than any scientist. Every child is a born scientist. You must try and make this. There's another variation of that. It's a variation. Now instead of the fan, instead of just a propeller, what do you have? A disc with 7 colors. What is this disc called as? The rainbow colors, Newton's disc, right? Now suppose there is a power cut, you can still do your experiment. This is a refill, you can have a refill also, toothpick. If I rub this, well, the disc spins at a very fast rate, all the 7 colors coalesce, and you see some kind of a grayish white. Right? Right? Oh, you can see this. Okay? What else? Now this This is designed by a child who's never passed seventh, but just green fingers. Look at this. How do you make it? You've seen this, all this construction work going on, big steel rods, they are tied together by thin wire. And this is GI wire. On a hardware store, you can buy it by the kilo. Take about 2 feet of this, take a round pencil and wind, make a small spring. Remove the spring. And if you just pull out the spring, it will become a spiral like that. What are these? Can someone guess what are these? These are straw pieces, colored straw pieces. They're not beads, pieces of colored straw. Right? You can get red straw, green straw. That's it. It costs 50 paisa. We actually costed this. We cost all our toys because we must know where we stand. We make, I'll show you a sprinkler, but we make 31 pumps. No one in the world makes so many pumps. When I did my book, Pumps from the Dump, every day I would get 2 emails from American teachers. So for the first time, our kids have actually understood how pumps work. Right. Now this is a pump. You could inflate a balloon with a pump like that. It's a real pump. Right. And if I keep doing this, the balloon would pop. That's what it goes. And we have also have a slogan that the best thing a child can do with a toy is to break it. Parents don't like us, teachers don't like us. Why do children break toys? Because they're the only curious cats left. They want to know what is inside the tummy. Iske पेट के अंदर क्या है? That's what they want to know. So a good toy design should invite a child, pull me apart, take me apart. That's what a good toy is. Satiate your curiosity. This is what, who will tell me? Old cycle tube. Old cycle tube. You can put on a cricket bat, right? Now these have disappeared now. Everyone's got a mobile camera, and these are old film can bottles. This we did 25 years back. Technology has changed, but I'm sure there is a substitute for this. The discovery was that these film cans go very snugly into an old cycle tube. This was a discovery. And what you did was, made a hole, and can you see this flap? Can you see this flap opening and closing? If I blow from here, will the air pass through or no? Yes. The flap would be lifted, air can pass. Can I suck in air? This is green light, this is red light. This is go, this is stop. And that's what a valve is, that's what a transistor does. We made a one-way valve. Very efficient valve. So this is my suction valve. And in this lid, this bottle has a lid, and we just put another valve over here. Can you see this? This is my delivery valve. And this is just a pipe for the air to come out. That's it. And if I do a hot summer day, you can do like this. Very nice. If you put some scent, you can start a startup. Right? It's a very good product to sell. Alright. Lots of pumps, and I'll show you another pump. Old toothpaste tubes are not for throwing because you might be throwing away such a nice pump, right? So what you do is, this is the old toothpaste tube. You just cut it, clean it up. How many of you have ever cut open an old toothpaste tube? How many of you? Just out of curiosity, one curious girl there. You must always cut up things before dissect things. Dissection is banned in schools, but you must. There's no ban on cutting up an old toothpaste tube. Frogs you can't cut up today, but this you certainly can. If you ever cut up an old toothpaste tube, you will discover to your surprise there's a lot of white stuff still sticking inside. Right? That's a realization. Now, this is where the lid comes. You put a balloon and you cut the balloon. Can I blow from here? Will the air pass through? You saw the straw thing. It vibrates, makes a sound, and can I suck in air? It just shuts its mouth. This is green and this is red. You've got a valve in God's good world. There are many ways of making valves, right? And now this is a flexi tube, so you can just put it there. This is green. Water can go in, but the water which is gone in, can it come down? It can't come down. And if I do this in water, every time little bits of water will, the tummy would be filled with water and it will come out. Right? For little children, third class, second class children, it's a great pump. Right? It's just a single valve pump. Water is coming out. What does a pump do? It lifts water from a lower level to a higher level. This is what it's doing. Not very efficient, but a pump nonetheless. There are lots of toys which you, well, this is something very nice with a straw. And this we did many, many years back. Now this will take a, just a ordinary straw with a loop of thread. And how do you make this? You take a pencil. I don't have a pencil. It's a pen. But with a sharp pencil, you make a hole over here. Push it, jab it inside. It will go inside. And then you keep rotating the pencil. The pencil point is like a cone. So you will generate an inverse cone. No scissors. Scissors, you will get sharp edges. This you make a very rounded hole over here. So this is it. This is what ordinary cotton thread. Can someone tell me the knot? The knot is over here. Just a loop hanging. If I blow, well, 20 years back, some 25% of the children in Delhi suffered from asthma. They won't read diesel buses. Today, Delhi, if you have the political will, you can change things. Because the Chief Justice, the Prime Minister, the President, they all stay in Delhi. So Delhi is a priority. They're all dying themselves. Right? That's why these chappies acted. They don't act unless their own self-interests are involved. So they were all dying. So there was a sharp political will, and today Delhi has the largest CNG fleet in the world. We can do it if we want it. We need a political will. 25% of the children in Delhi suffer from asthma. That's when we designed this toy. You know, doctors, inhalers, but doctors saying they must do some pranayam, some breathe very deeply because it would strengthen the lungs. And this was a great toy, cost no money. If you give it to a child, the only thing a child can do is to blow at it. And good exercise for the lungs for no money, right? That was it all.